Welcome. The bells tolling tell us that it's 5 o'clock, and so we want to begin. Please continue to help yourself to food and beverages. Stay hydrated. It's hot. Soon as the sun goes down, it will be much more comfortable. Thank you all for joining us on what is always an inspirational and uplifting event. I'm Melissa Barnett. I'm the director of the Frances McClelland Institute for Children, Youth, and Families, or FMI, as we call ourselves. Before we move forward with today's program, I want to acknowledge where we are and the debts we collectively owe by sharing the official land acknowledgement of the University of Arizona that was developed in partnership with local tribal representatives. We respectfully acknowledge the University of Arizona is on the land and territories of Indigenous peoples. Today, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes, with Tucson being home to the O'odham and the Yaqui peoples. Committed to diversity and inclusion, the university strives to build sustainable relationships with sovereign Native nations and Indigenous communities through education offerings, partnerships, and community service. At FMI, our goal is to work collaboratively with community organizations and researchers to build strong communities that promote family resilience so that children and youth from marginalized backgrounds have the opportunity to thrive. Better? Okay. We reach this goal by supporting impactful, actionable research, actively partnering with community organizations, sharing research findings with the community and practitioners, and educating the next generation of engaged scholars and community leaders. To highlight some of our recent successes, they have included the work of the Science of Kindness Community Collaborative, led by Dr. Jeanette Murray, to engage in action-focused research and programming to build a community of practice to increase kind behavior that benefits us all. We've also recently heavily invested in successfully partnering with community organizations and cooperative extension to develop community-based research internships for undergraduates. All of our work is to honor the legacy of Frances McClelland. And although you'll hear more about her later, I do want to note now she was someone who lived a life that demonstrated, facilitated, and celebrated resilience. Frances was a generous and tireless advocate for those who experienced injustice and adversity. Today, we are honoring individuals and organizations who share this vision and through their work are having a significant impact on communities in Southern Arizona. We are also honoring the legacy of another visionary in our community, Richard Elias, whose positive impact will be felt for generations. We hope you enjoy the food that's provided by our caterer today, Cafe 54, whose mission is to provide employment training for adults in mental health recovery. Cafe 54 is part of Coyote Task Force, a 2019 Frances McClelland Spirit Organizational Award winner. And they have left cards and literature about a fundraiser they have, and we hope that you consider using their catering for your next event. We also want to recognize and thank Tucson Unified School District's Community Transitions Program, Advanced Community Training Program, who created our one-of-a-kind plaques. They really are beautiful, and you will see them when the award recipients come up here. As you'll soon learn, this year's awardees have made significant contributions to critical issues in our community. They have collectively advanced well-being and economic and educational equity and inclusion for marginalized populations. And in doing so, they have enhanced our communities for everyone. Before recognizing this year's award winners, we want to take a few moments to recognize a leader we lost this year. Many of you knew Josefina Ahumada. We were able to honor her last year with the Richard Elias Legacy Award before she passed away in January. Josefina was a force for justice and an inspiration. She worked persistently and compassionately to promote equity, inclusion, and opportunity. She was a dedicated mentor and an advocate. She was a trailblazer. For example, she successfully pushed to have a cultural competency requirement for state social work certification as the only person of color on a coalition to license social workers. She was a plaintiff in a lawsuit that successfully sued to overturn Arizona's marriage discrimination law. And those are just a couple of examples. Josefina held many leadership positions throughout the community. She led with focus, kindness, and empathy. I want to share a quote from her that was included in her obituary. "Sacrifice is part of life. Own it. Become enraged if you see injustice, but channel it toward change. To recognize her loss, please join me in a moment of silence. If Josefina were here, she would appreciate that moment of silence, but she would also want you to be inspired to take action. You'll see on your table some kindness coins from Ben's Bells that were donated by Jeanette Murray. Please pledge to do a kind behavior in memory of Josefina. Thank you. I will say I'm always teary-eyed at the ceremony. It usually doesn't start this early, but thinking about Josefina's legacy, it's powerful. So to move on then, we'll start with the first award, which is the 2024 Frances McClellan Vision Award, which will be given to Bonnie Bizzata. And before we give the award, I want to share a little bit more about Frances. Frances was born in Tucson in 1923 to Irish immigrant parents. Although she contracted polio at a young age and spent much of her life in a wheelchair, she did not let this hold her back. She graduated from the University of Arizona in 1944 with a degree in accounting, an impressive feat for a woman at that time. She went on to become the corporate treasurer at her family's business, Shamrock Dairy, today Shamrock Foods, sitting tall in her wheelchair in boardrooms full of men. She was extremely generous with her time, money, wisdom, and spirit. Her leadership positions, to name just a few, included president of the YWCA and serving on multiple boards. Before she died, she set up the Emerald Foundation, which gave away more than $20 million across the state of Arizona, including the initial endowment for our institute. She was a committed advocate to providing opportunities for those who are marginalized, especially women, immigrant families, and individuals with disabilities. Her legacy as a community leader lives on. Here to present this year's Frances McClellan Vision Award is FMI Advisory Council member and CEO of The Haven, Amy Graves.
Good evening, everybody. It is my honor to present this year's 2024 Vision Award to someone who has dedicated her career to addressing one of the most pressing challenges we have in our time: breaking the cycle of intergenerational poverty and advancing equity. Bonnie Bizzata. Bonnie currently serves as the Public Policy, Education, and Research Officer for the Primavera Foundation. In this role, she leads a multi-sector network of organizations in collaboration with the City of Tucson and Pima County. They are implementing policies aimed at achieving equitable economic mobility and fostering community prosperity. Bonnie is leading this effort that will significantly move the needle of poverty and advance well-being in our community. Before this position, Bonnie made a substantial impact as the Ending Poverty Now program manager for Pima County from 2015 to 2024. Her deep commitment to equity and poverty alleviation is rooted in her personal and professional journey. She has spent decades working with culturally and economically diverse communities. Through her work, she has not only developed model programs, but also shared her insights on poverty at regional and national levels. Like Frances, Bonnie is committed to merging research and the lived experiences of people facing marginalization to make concrete changes that benefit us all. Bonnie is a connector, a mentor, and oh, is she a connector, a collaborator, an empathetic advocate, and a very modest visionary. Please join me in congratulating Bonnie Bizzata, the recipient of the 2024 Frances McClellan Vision Award.
Love it. Isn't this beautiful? And we definitely have to lower that microphone. Beautiful. Well, I was given 4 minutes, so I would like to just share a few things. So first, As we look forward to the first woman and the first woman of color becoming president, I want to acknowledge the vital role of women in shaping our communities and leading for change. And for that and many other reasons, I'm so honored to receive an award named for the extraordinary life and work of Frances McClellan, a visionary leader who knew how to combine business savvy with philanthropy for the greater good. We share a Scotch-Irish ancestry and love for this community. Unfortunately, I have none of our business smarts, which would have come in handy to fund many of the great causes I had a chance to work for. And I also want to mention again, Josefina Ahumada, who left such an indelible mark doing the deep work of forwarding justice and creating an inclusive community. So my guess is, like Frances and Josefina, and probably like many of you, I got this calling at a very early age to work for social change. And it was something I couldn't ignore. And it took me to many places, creating a more just, seeking answers for creating a more just society. And some of it felt like, and probably was, a fool's errand. But each place took me to learn new lessons and from the wonderful people I got to work with. I hope some good was done, but the best part was always the people I got to work with. So when I returned to Tucson in 2015, it was to work on poverty issues. And I was given the title of Ending Poverty Now Program Manager, as Amy mentioned, a title somewhere between aspirational and delusionally grandiose. Still, I chipped away as I could. And then one day I got this opportunity to work on a set of policies to reduce generational poverty and increase economic mobility in Pima County, which became the Prosperity Initiative. And if I'm honest, in the first 6 months, I also wondered if this was not yet another fool's errand. But as the work unfolded, it started to attract more and more people. It started to make sense. It started to generate energy. And it became clear that we needed to focus on families with children, and particularly children for two reasons, because we know children suffer poverty at a higher rate than any other population group in our country. And the evidence is clear that growing up in poverty makes it very difficult to break the cycle, which not just limits the future for that child, but also impacts our collective economic well-being. So after a year of research and writing, we had 13 policies, 3 cross-policy strategies, all of which were adopted by City Council and the Board of Supervisors. And now we're implementing those strategies both through government and this multi-sector community partnership. And I have the privilege of working on that now. And just as in all of my other work, I didn't do this alone. Many people stepped in to share their talent, time, and expertise. And just as before, the best part was working with all these incredible people. So I'd like to name a few of my wonderful colleagues, some of whom are here tonight, and thank them for their participation. And I'd ask you to stand as I mention your name. So I also have to start first with Councilmember Lane Santa Cruz, who got this whole thing in motion by a presentation to Mayor and Council, which resulted in a unanimous vote for a joint task force with the county. And that was the beginning of the prosperity work. So thank you, Lane. And then once the county agreed to take this on, Nicole Fife was there from the beginning with her substantial commitment, stand up, Nicole, of time, her incredible knowledge and guidance, and the respect she carries throughout the county. Couldn't have done it without you. So thank you, Nicole. Keith Bentley and Brian Mayer were our 2 university researchers who came on board and provided, stand up, Brian, critical guidance and expertise. So thank you, Keith and Brian. Lisa Florin with United Way and Jenny Grable with SVP both wrote policies and continue to support this important work along with their colleague Liz Cozy from United Way. So thank you, Lisa, Jenny, and Liz. Tisha Tallman, CEO of Primavera, is deeply committed to this work and brings not just her expertise, but she made a commitment of dollars to staff my position to do this work. So thank you, Tisha. Melissa Barnett, the Frances McClellan Director and star of this event, provided insights and support, as well as the most amazing intern, Jenny Haggerty, stand up, who helped with the project with her outstanding research and writing skills. So thank you, Melissa and Jenny. And then there's a whole host of people who gave critical support and insights throughout and continue to help shape this coalition work. So Eric Schindler, CEO of Child and Family Resources, Kelly Griffith, Executive Director for the Center for Economic Integrity, who received the Richard Elias Award in the past, Penelope Jacks, co-founder of Preschool Promise, Lauren Valladares, please stand, and Tom McKinney from ICS, Magdalena Verdugo with the CEO of YWCA, Brooke Gillum, a brilliant strategist with SVP, and Helen Schaefer, who stepped in after I left the county to take on this work. And there are many more. So I think you get the point. I get to receive this beautiful recognition tonight, but truly it was a collective process from the start. So here's to prosperity and all the people who are making it happen. Thank you so much.
FMI's privileged to celebrate Richard Elias's lasting gifts to our community by awarding the Richard Elias Legacy Award. Richard was a longtime community advocate and leader who served on the Pima County Board of Supervisors and the FMI Advisory Council. We created this award in 2020 to honor his considerable legacy of impact. Having a personal connection to Richard has never been a part of the award criteria, but the fact that each of the 5 winners has shared a connection to Richard as a colleague, friend, and/or mentor is not merely a coincidence. It speaks to his tremendous and ongoing impact in our community. Here to present this year's award is Dr. Andrea Romero, past director of FMI and current vice provost for faculty affairs at the University of Arizona. Dr. Romero was a longtime collaborator and colleague of Supervisor Elias and Josefina Aguilar.
Hi, everybody. Can I just say we work in this amazing community that's full of giants, right? We are so lucky. And I was especially lucky to have worked in close partnership and collaboration with Josefina for well over a decade. And really witnessing and benefiting from her quiet strength, her insight, and her advocacy was a tremendous role model for me. She worked tirelessly and very focused to educate new social workers. She found ways to embed them in schools and throughout the community. I think, partly that was like her way of building a pipeline, right? So she had always like a motive and a focus to make sure that we had more people ready to serve in that way. And she also worked to recognize their transformative impact on the local community. I miss her presence. But I'm just so grateful to have worked so closely with her, and I know so many others are as well. I was also blessed to get to know Richard Elias when I first came to Tucson 24 years ago. I was introduced to him by Raquel Rubio Goldsmith, and I invited him right away to come speak to my undergraduate class in Mexican American Studies. I was super impressed with his ability to talk about Mexican American history. And as a social psychologist who studies mental health of young people, I was incredibly impressed to see his understanding and also his advocacy for mental health care access in the local community. I continued to stay in touch with Richard for many years, but it was when I was working closely with Casa Maria to reduce poverty and to improve educational equity that we came to work closer together on a more frequent basis. And it was always such a pleasure to hear his insights about the challenges and really learn from his expert strategies to address issues and make changes at the community level. So of course, when I became director of Francis McClellan Institute, I invited him right away to be on the community advisory board. He always showed up, no matter how many events he had, he always showed up, and he was always willing to discuss. He really helped keep the board on track. And he also found opportunities to give me guidance about my own work and my own work decisions. I would truly call him a mentor. I was thinking of him tonight as we're starting all of this. And if he was here, he would have already piled up about 3 or 4 plates of food. And he might be complaining there's no tamales. And he would be, making all of us laugh. He always had a joke. He always had something funny to say. But most importantly, he would remind you to donate to the FMI. And I know that there's things on your table. He was always the closer, and he was always the best closer because he always knew exactly how to say it. So, culturally, whenever, we are doing this sort of thing and we're remembering people who have already passed on, we say their name and then we say presente. Because it's like we're reminding ourselves that they are still here and present with us. They're definitely present in me, and I definitely see it that they are present in all of you. So, Josefina Ahumada, presente. Richard Elias, presente. It is very fitting that the award tonight for the Richard Elias Legacy Award is going to Maria Federico Brummer. I've known Maria for years when she was a teacher in Mexican American Studies in TUSD, and she was always showing up for her students and mentoring her students. Wherever she went, she had a student with her. Wherever she went in the community, there was always a student that came along with her, and she introduced them to everybody and exposed them to all these different things. She was a strong advocate within the school district and within the local community for all the issues that she taught about in class. She really lived it. It wasn't just something that she was reading. It was something that she was putting into action and showing her students how to put it into action. It's clear, and it still continues to be clear, that Maria is through and through a dedicated professional who takes her work completely to heart. It's been a pleasure to continue working with Maria through my work in the schools and also providing consultation with the Mexican American Studies Student Services that are under her excellent leadership now. Maria Federico Brummer is a passionate advocate for equity in education and a fierce champion for Mexican American and Chicanx students. Since 2016, she served as a director for TUSD's Mexican American Student Services Department, where she's been a driving force in challenging systems and dismantling biased structural education practices that impact Chicanx students. Her leadership has been pivotal in advancing culturally relevant curriculum and ensuring that students' culture, language, and truly all of their assets are centered in their educational journey. And she puts families first and foremost. As a Mexican indigenous Tlamanaka Nahuatl Mayo educator, deeply rooted in Tucson, Maria is driven by her commitment to the community. With 28 years of experience in public education, she's fought for equity in the classroom and stood on the front lines of advocacy. In fact, she was one of the 11 educators who courageously challenged Arizona's anti-ethnic studies law, ARS 15-112. Her voice continues to resonate in multiple settings, including the Arizona Cesar E. Chavez and Dolores Huerta Holiday Coalition, the Arizona Department of Education's Culturally Inclusive Practices Committee, and the Latinx Advisory Council, as well as many, many more. Her commitment to lifelong learning is clear. She holds a BA in history from the University of Arizona, one of our alumni. She has a master's in education and educational leadership from Northern Arizona University, and she's currently pursuing her doctorate in Mexican American Studies at the University of Arizona. We're so proud of you, Maria. And it's truly my greatest privilege to present the 2024 Richard Elias Legacy Award to Maria Federico Brummer.
Well, first off, I'm so grateful to Dr. Andrea Romero for that introduction. It's the beginning of my career as an educator. I get to embrace her knowledge, her skills, and her guidance. And it just happened to be. And here we are 28 years later. So I just thank you. It's so humbling. I want to thank everyone for being here and supporting the Francis McClellan Institute in the ways that you do. I want to thank the Elias family and the Institute for making this award possible for our community to honor today the mujeres here that are doing the work in our community. Special gracias to Bianca Lavario for even thinking to nominate me for this award. It's extremely humbling, and I'm so grateful. I'm deeply honored to receive this award in the name of one of the most vivacious voices for equity our community has ever had. I can hear his voice. I can feel his brazos. I did have a personal connection with Mr. Elias. Richard Elias, he carried so much for us, whether it was mental health, poverty, LGBTQ. It was the people experiencing homelessness. It was education, where I got to be in his world, in his realm, in his focus. Sometimes his target too, because he wanted to push us forward. It's a humbling recognition of our work as a district, as a department, and the work of my colleagues. My colleagues are here. They're at the table there. We've got a few of them. And we're just doing everything we can, following his footsteps in order to advance education and social justice throughout Tucson Unified. That was the charge he gave us, and that's the charge we're going to continue to do. As we know, education is a cornerstone of a just and equitable society. It empowers individuals, it breaks down barriers and fosters empathy and understanding. Yet for too long, across our district, across our community, across our state, quality education has been unevenly distributed and continues to be. It's leaving marginalized communities behind. We continue to make the strides that Mr. Elias advocated for each and every day. We continue to be guided by his determination to see future generations of Chicano and Chicana children in our community flourish. I got to work alongside Richard in the Arizona Cesar Chavez Holiday Coalition, which is now the Arizona Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta Holiday Coalition. He was one of the original founders, and he made that real clear at each and every one of our rallies, which he resounded and was so prideful for. And as our supervisor in Pima County, I got to see him firsthand focus on how he was addressing the inequalities in our community. I got to see him firsthand engage with our students. I got to see him firsthand engage with our families. As a member of the Mexican American Studies and Mexican American Student Services Department Community Advisory Boards and TUSD, we saw him and heard him strive and create inclusive environments for our students, for our families. We saw him mentor, we saw him provide those opportunities, and we saw him advocate for policies that support the success of all students. He believed that every child, regardless of their background, deserves the chance to reach their full potential. I humbly continue on our journey and remain committed to the principles of social justice that Mr. Elias set forth. This means challenging systemic inequities. This means advocating for equitable resource distribution and ensuring that education is a tool for empowerment and not used as a tool for oppression. I want to express my gratitude to my colleagues that are here, the mentors like Dr. Andrea Romero, and supporters who have made this work possible and will continue to on our journey. Your dedication and passion have inspired me and countless others. I've also have tremendous gratitude for my family. I have my father here, my in-law and my mother-in-law and my partner. My daughter, who's my inspiration. She's not only my daughter, Tucson High. Weeks, wherever we were at in different struggles, and just knowing that I was doing the work that needed to be done in our community and will continue to do. Thinking about Richard's words and his voice, I know together we can build this stronger community where education is a catalyst for social justice and rehumanization. He used rehumanization. He wanted us to regain our humanity. He spoke of that constantly in our education spaces, and I'm going to hold that true. Today, I also accept this award, dedicating it to the memory of my mother, Rosalinda, who we lost a year ago in February. And so she was one of those strong Democrats and advocates in our community, and she would have been proud to see me accept this award today. Thank you so much, Richard. And I, don't want to speak of my work. I wanted to speak of him today. Manamoa, Richard Elias presente. Sí se puede.
Thank you. This next award recognizes a local nonprofit organization that represents Francis's spirit, resilience, and legacy by meeting community needs and offering supports that promote resilience. Here to present this year's award is Dr. Latifa Duhart and committee members from the 2023 award-winning organization, the Community Coalition for Heart Health Education.
Thank you so much for having us here. I just want to remark that on behalf of our illustrious leader, Wanda F. Moore, who could not be here, she wanted to send her regrets. This is something that is near and dear to our hearts, and if she could have been here, she would have. 2024 Organizational Spirit Award, Interfaith Community Services. Interfaith Community Services, ICS, is dedicated to creating pathways towards more stable and self-sufficient lives. By networking with more than 100 faith communities, ICS provides opportunities for everyday residents to be caring neighbors. Serving over 60,000 people across Southern Arizona each year, ICS operates through multiple locations strategically placed to assist the community's most under-resourced members. ICS addresses essential needs in practical ways while upholding the dignity and respect of every individual they serve. When individuals walk through the doors of ICS seeking help, they are met with open hearts by both volunteers and staff, reflecting the organization's deep commitment to care and compassion. ICS services address the needs of the entire family from birth to end of life. Everything from loneliness and isolation for our seniors to youth enrichment for kids and pressing crises along with stabilizing services to promote well-being and community stability. Because of their robust volunteer model, they're able to stretch a dollar and help many more people than comparable nonprofits. They deliver many noteworthy programs with proven track records of collaboration and effectiveness. This work includes creating one of the first guaranteed income programs in Pima County. ICS understands the root cause of poverty that creates vulnerability in families and are dedicated to building on the extraordinary resilience of those families so that they can enjoy greater stability and fulfill their potential. It is the privilege of the Community Coalition Heart Health Education Minority Outreach Program to present the 2024 Organizational Spirit Award to Interfaith Community Services. Thank you for your generous words. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Hendricks, and I'm the board president, ICS. I'm sorry our CEO, he could not be here this evening, but he had another task and an obligation that we say is fulfilling our role in the organization. So you got me. I'm so happy to be back at the university. I was here 12 years ago. I retired. But I said, hey, I retired. I'm not going to use that word anymore. I'm going to use the word repurpose. This is my repurpose, ICS. I joined ICS within a year of the university. Never looked back. It's just been a wonderful experience. And we're so honored this evening to accept the Francis McClellan Spirit Organizational Award on behalf of Interfaith Community Services. We're a large organization, but we have a larger heart. We work hard to make sure that we meet as best we can the underserved populations of our community. And it's a big task. You know, some organizations do one thing really well. We try to do a lot of things really well. We make sure that these things connect and coordinate. So we are most appreciative of this prestigious recognition this evening. We recognized our efforts of improving the well-being of children and youth and families and our local community. That's a large population and a growing population in this community. This award is a testament of hard work and dedication to an incredible team of volunteers and staff. One of our staff members here, she's already been introduced, we'll introduce her again, Lauren Valadez, who is our Director of Life Advancement Services. Thank you, Lauren, for being here. The mission of ICS is to provide pathways, if you heard, leading to a more stable and self-sufficient life. We've learned over a period of time that simply handing something to somebody, while it may help them on a temporary basis, is not self-sufficiency. It may help them on that bridge, on that pathway, but we look at multiple ways that we can help our clients, our friends, reach a point where they can be self-sufficient. I've experienced many personal testimonials from individuals that I have met who have talked about what ICS has done for them, what the community has done for them. And it has been said over 60,000 under-resourced people in Southern Arizona have been helped by ICS. We try to meet people's needs in a multitude of ways. When individuals seek assistance from ICS, our volunteers and staff open their hearts. Whether people need food, rental assistance, help with their educational journey, securing a job, or learning about financial literacy, we are there for them. We strongly believe that by helping parents out of poverty, we can secure a better life for their children. Thank you again for this incredible honor. We will continue to work tirelessly to support and uplift our community, inspired by the legacy of Francis McClellan. Together, we hope to build a stronger, more resilient community where all children, youth, families have an opportunity to thrive. Thank you very much.
Finally, we are grateful to recognize an inspirational youth leader. The Youth Vision Award is given to an individual who's working towards improving the well-being of children, youth, families, and communities. This honoree embodies the strength, dedication, vision, resilience, and passion that Francis McClelland exhibited. This youth leader inspires hope for Arizona's future. Here to present this year's award is another inspirational young leader, Lillian Noriega, winner of the 2023 Youth Award.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to see everyone that was here last year and so many new inspiring faces. It is my honor to present this year's nominee, Luna Aguirre. Luna Aguirre's journey is a testament to resilience, creativity, and the pursuit of joy through artistic expression. A Tucson native, Luna has faced significant challenges, including homelessness at age 17. Despite these adversities, her determination has fueled a passion for supporting and creating for others. After graduating from high school, Luna became an ambassador for Youth on Their Own, YODO, sharing her story with community members and serving as a representative of YODO youth. Luna has been a fearless advocate for the 1,500 plus youth that participate in the YODO program each year. As a member of the Youth on Their Own Action Board, Luna contributes valuable feedback to guide organizational decisions. For example, she provided suggestions to adopt a more trauma-informed application process for YODO and to develop pride kits for YODO participants that include joyful and affirming products to LGBTQ youth. Her willingness to share about challenges that young people face, including mental health and housing, influences leaders in the Tucson community. Her personal experiences inspire her advocacy and deep gratitude for the YODO community. As an artist, Luna was honored with her first commissioned piece, La Luna, for YODO's Forever Home. For Luna, art is not just a form of expression, but a pathway to personal fulfillment, illustrating her belief that happiness can be achieved through creativity and dedication. Luna also embodies compassion, choosing empathy over judgment. She advocates for understanding, believing that fostering compassion can raise awareness and promote a more supportive approach to those facing adversity. With plans to pursue a college degree to become a teacher, Luna continues to inspire others with her resilience and dedication to making a difference. I am honored to present the 2024 Francis McClelland Youth Vision Award to Luna Aguirre.
I'm very honored to be receiving the Youth Vision Award. Thank you to the Francis McClelland Institute and everyone who contributed to making this event possible and honoring young leaders. I want to give a huge thank you to Youth on Their Own for continuing to give me support and such amazing opportunities. And my program coordinator, Heather Benet, for nominating me for this award. I also want to thank my boyfriend and his family for taking me in at 17 when my home wasn't as stable. Without all these people's support, I don't know where I would be. I'm very grateful for this recognition, and I could go on about who and what I'm grateful for. I will continue to do my best, whatever it is I'm doing. Homeless youth need support and encouragement to prosper, and I'm proof of that. If you ever see anyone hurting or in need, always show compassion. Thank you again.
Thank you. Congratulations to all of the winners. Thank you for joining us. And I will ask, are there any past Vision Award winners in the audience to recognize you? Show of hands. We have some of you. So thank you to those of you. And what we should have told you when we gave you this award this year is once you get an award from us, you are part of the FMI family forever. It is an obligation. We do have our picture backdrop. We'd love to get pictures of this year's winners and past winners as well. We moved it to over there because it was blowing over in the wind. So we would love if you could go over there after the awards. Before we leave, I want to say thank you to our generous donors, some of whom have joined us today. Special thanks to our top sponsor, Pima Federal Credit Union. I want to thank some other guests for their support, including Dr. Laura Scarmella, Director of the Norton School of Human Ecology, our home unit. We owe a huge thank you to all of the people who made this event possible, especially those who donated and served on award selection committees. Amy Graves, Erin Lyons, Bonnie Bazada, Madeline DeBlois, Jeanette Murray, Eric Schindler, Russ Keeney, Andrea Romero, and Alyssa Norris. Thank you to our amazing Norton and FMI staff, Robert Lanza, our IT person, and Gabby Frierson. And an especially big, huge thanks to Bianca Lavario, who, our FMI program manager, who is responsible for everything, the awards nomination, the selection process in this event. So thank you so much, Bianca, for all that you did. Please join us for future events. And if you're not already, please follow us on social media and sign up for our listserv. And finally, thank you to Dr. Romero for setting me up for this. This is the ask. We welcome any donations you can make to help us continue and expand our work. Your gifts will support this event and our other efforts to work collaboratively to share timely research, conduct innovative research to tackle pressing issues, support student research and community-based learning experiences, and build opportunities for truly collaborative community-university partnerships. If you are able to give today, we have tried to make it convenient. You'll see there are QR codes, and we hope these work better than the registration QR codes on your tables, as well as in the program to donate. You're also, of course, welcome to go to our website, fmi.arizona.edu. Finally, we hope you feel inspired and ready to join our awardees, the Francis McClelland Institute, and our partners to build better, more just communities where children and families have opportunities to thrive. Thank you, and thank you, award winners, for letting us honor you tonight.